and germs. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you again for your curiosity. This is another episode of the Goddamn Podcast. I am your host with the most, Danny M. Just wanted to take a huge, pardon me, wanted to take the time. Sorry if you can hear it, I'm a little sick. I'm just coming off of a really strong cold, potentially the flu. I don't know which one I got, but I got something. It wasn't great. So I want to thank Trinidad Dan White and all of you who supported the last episode. If you haven't already, go ahead, follow the link if you're on YouTube to our Spotify. The episode had 23 plays on Spotify, 31 views on the episode itself on YouTube, and the shorts amassed 6.9K views with 51.6 hours of watch time. For me, that's a huge honor. I didn't know that was going to happen so quickly. I didn't expect to have 1K views until, maybe episode 9. So thank you again. And for those of you who missed it, just a quick recap. Trinidad Dan White went on with me the last podcast. I interviewed him. We spoke about navigating his mental health. We talked about his life, his upbringing, how he even got the nickname Trinidad Dan White. We did a lightning round segment, which will be something that we'll continue to do throughout the podcast. And I'd like to apologize to Seafood Dan White and all of you who were listening in. I was using new equipment, lav mics, still new to it. I hadn't fully tested it out yet. I had tested it, but I guess that short period of time that I tested it, I didn't really get the type of response that I was trying to elicit since there weren't two people speaking at the same time. But luckily, after reviewing the data, we realized the error, and I spoke with my team, so we've all decided we're going to purchase new condenser mics similar to this podcast mic that you see here in front of me, for those of you that can watch. Basically, we made that mistake. We won't make that mistake again and in the future. I was happy with the video quality. I'm not sure if any of you wanted to leave any suggestions or just let us know how we did. On the video, there is a Q&A. There's also a poll on Spotify. And if you want to leave that in the comment section on YouTube, we greatly appreciate you. So thank you all again for viewing the episode itself. Moving forward, I'm happy to announce that the Friday Night Cyph podcast will be airing very soon. Your co-hosts K Dimes and 914 Ken are in the lab currently working out their next few episodes so that we can start to record and then put the podcast out. Also, El Coro podcast, co-hosted by yours truly, and DJ Ray Stars, also airing soon. We have an interview lined up with one of the most badass human beings on the fucking earth. His nickname is literally Rambo. So you already know what he's about. He's a United States Marine Corps veteran. He served in Afghanistan and Iraq during the war right after 9/11. He's got some badass merch that we're going to put in the link on those episodes. So you can go ahead and support your vets. And we're actually going to be going to his cigar shop for the episode. And he's going to teach us about cigars. He's going to tell us, what pairs well, what bourbons, what whiskeys, everything, and so forth and so on. So that's something that we're really looking forward to. And then, of course, as far as MMA goes, for the MMA fans, not to worry. Once we have all the mics in, myself and 3 other co-hosts who I will be I'll be announcing at that time. We already have it ready, but we just need to get everything set up and get a good time for it so we can do these segments, talk about these fights, and, give us our hot takes on those things that we're doing. Very grateful for the platform and for your time, so thank you again. Excuse me. And speaking of fighting, this has been a very intense and fun time for this fight game. If you're looking at the fight game right now, Sean O'Malley and Sean Strickland are both UFC champions. Terrence Crawford is the pound-for-pound king of boxing. Noche UFC, or whatever they wanted to call it, was really strange. And then last night, this is Sunday, so Saturday night, we were watching the Canelo versus Charlo pay-per-view, which was interesting in a few ways itself. So, just wanted to talk about those fights, and let's talk about it, because that Sean O'Malley KO is something of beauty. They've been playing the highlights recently, and shout out to Sandoval, because they've been someone that we've been working our way through. I have a lot of their merch, and I'm trying to get myself on there as well, so shout out to them. But Sean's knockout was beautiful. That was the perfect punch. He let, Sterling get in there. Sterling just didn't seem to catch the timing. Once he was hurt, he was hurt. It was kind of the end of it. Sorry, I had to crack my neck. And then that Henry Cejudo joint where he was trying to say that Sean wasn't really a big star, something to the effect to say that Sean only sold 350,000 pay-per-view buys. For those of you who don't know, 350,000 is very average, even a little below average lately. But 350,000 pay-per-view buys is not what you would get a pay-per-view star. That would be a very regular pay-per-view. It would be a card that didn't live up to the hype, that wasn't stacked. I think that was cap, and I do think that Henry Cejudo's being a hater just to get O'Malley to look in his direction so that he can try to regain the world title. Go ahead in the comment section. Let me know what you think about it. That's something that I definitely want to see and then get your opinion on. Let me just say that I also wanted to congratulate Sean Strickland. What a fight, man! That was the surprise of 2023. I don't think any of us knew we kind of needed because I'm a huge Izzy fan. But to watch Sean just be relentless, I mean, he put on a clinic. A lot of people were saying that it was like a little boring after those few shots, but I think that that was amazing just to get that off on someone like him. And then God bless Sean Strickland. He broke the fucking belt and put duct tape on it. Like for those of you who haven't watched, go to his Instagram. He literally duct taped the fucking belt. He broke it. Like I don't even think he had the belt like a week and had fucking destroyed it, which was really strange. And then last thing that I want to talk about as far as MMA and the UFC, uh, that Alexa Grasso versus Shevchenko 2 fight. Whoever was the ref that didn't score that 10-8 correctly, my man, you need to get fined. If it was a woman, she needs to get fined. If they, are non-binary, they them needs to get fined because this is bullshit. You're impacting the career of a professional athlete, and then on top of that, you rob someone. You rob someone of a fight. This is a fight that I should have under my belt. You took that from me, and I really don't fuck with that vibe. Like, I'm sorry, respectfully, Alexa Grasso, great champion. She is, a true Mexican guerrera. She's with that shit. She's for the people, and I fuck with her vibe. But to say that she won that fight, I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time looking at it, analyzing the data, looking at the numbers, and going, yeah, Grasso won. She didn't even look comfortable in the post fight. She looked like she knew, this time it went my way, and I got lucky. But that's just my opinion. Again, that's what the comment section is for. You can disagree with me all you want. And last but not least is the Canelo Charlo pay per view. So let me talk about that one. The night started with Elijah Garcia defeating Armando Resendiz in the eighth round via TKO. That was a great fight for those of you who didn't get to watch it. The minute it comes out on YouTube, go ahead and watch it. Our boy Elijah Garcia, 16-0 now. Just an amazing boxing clinic that he put on. Armando Resendiz, not a slouch in any way, shape, or form. The guy is a bad motherfucker. That guy took hits that most guys would have just dropped from. But it looked like Garcia was setting up a few hooks to the body. The minute that Resendiz went to go throw his own hook to the head, he put his hands down to throw that hook. It was the perfect punch, and it was with the same side too. If you don't know, he's a southpaw. Threw a hook to the body, and with that same hand, threw a hook right to the head. You could see the sweat and everything splatter off of Resendiz's head. And Elijah Garcia retains his belt. I believe he had the Latin American belt, and then I think they gave him a WBC belt. I don't know if it was the silver belt. I believe it was the silver belt that he went in and beat him for, which is a big deal. Most people don't get that. That's a huge deal as a world champion. It's almost like being an interim champion, in a way, somewhat. That's how I would explain it to someone that doesn't really watch boxing that well. It's almost like being interim champion. It's like the guy that's definitely going to be, guaranteed the shot at the world title soon. From that fight, we went on to Mario Barrios versus Yordenis Ugas. I don't think that the referee or the doctor helped Yordenis Ugas. For those of you who haven't seen it, his right eye, I think it was the one that was surgically repaired during the Errol Spence Jr. fight. It was shut, man. It was swollen. And, shout out to Stitch, Cutman Stitch. He was able to get it fixed up, got it nice and light. He was able to barely open his eye. Ugas is 38, I believe. And he's toward the end of his career. Everyone knows that fighting is a young man's sport, and the older you are, the harder the shit is to do. Not everybody's Randy Couture. We can't all be 40 something years old and still be fighting. It doesn't happen that way. And Barrios impactfully did so well. His jab was amazing. He fought his heart out. True Azteca style. He went out there. He improved. And the boy from San Antonio, I believe he's actually from like Milwaukee and then moved down to San Antonio. Now he's in Vegas. That's a bad dude, man. He hits like a fucking demon. So, my respects to Mario Barrios. Congratulations again, winning another WBC belt. Looks like we're giving out a lot of WBC belts for this event, which is wonderful. Erickson Lubin versus Jesus Ramos, unanimous decision win for Lubin. I watched the fight. I'm honestly, I guess I need to watch it back. I don't know what crack they was on. I'm not sure what the hell the judges were watching. I was watching a fight and I was going, hey, this is a great fight. Ramos is in front of him the whole time. He took his foot off the gas. I want to say the last 2-3 rounds. He really he was pulling back from what he was doing. But even then, I think that fight was what 10-12 rounds. If I win damn near all of the rounds, and I land more punches, and I land at a higher percentage, and I put more output, and I'm controlling the forward pressure, how the hell did he lose? And no disrespect to Erickson Lubin, that whole I don't want to fight no youngins. I'm not a gatekeeper. You're a gatekeeper, bro. Real shit. You came out of Orlando, Florida. You fought nothing. You didn't do a fucking thing. We watched you sit there, southpaw, take mad shots. He didn't wake up toward like the last 4 rounds of the fight, but he really didn't do anything. He didn't hurt him once. He didn't catch any great shots. It wasn't like the Erickson Lubin that we had seen in the past, and I think his losses have definitely stuck with him. But in my humble opinion, I'm sorry, that doesn't merit a world title. It doesn't merit a silver champion. It doesn't merit nothing. You don't deserve the world title. You definitely didn't deserve the win. And Jesus Ramos, El Mono, he got robbed last night. That was a pure robbery. Everyone that I knew watched that fight was texting me, "Did you just see the robbery? Did you just see the robbery?" Yeah, that's a robbery, dog. Even the announcers were shocked. They even thought that the judges had said the wrong name, like they got the guys mixed up, or even that the announcer had incorrectly pronounced the winner. Which it goes to show Erickson Lubin he's not the caliber fighter that he used to be, even when he was coming up as a contender. And I think that his losses definitely damaged him. I think that he doesn't have the same heart. I don't think he fights like a world champion. He doesn't fight like a guy that wants to win. He fights like a guy that wants to survive. And hey, bro, respectfully, I get it. Boxing's not easy. Less than 1% of the people on earth will ever step into a ring or a cage. But you want to be the world champ, you got to fight like the world champ. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? But moving forward, the last fight of the night was the Jermell Charlo, or was it Jamal Charlo? I'm sorry, the Charlo twins confused me. It was Jermell Charlo, yes, versus Canelo Alvarez. They're like a minute apart. I don't know how the hell they could say one's older than the other one like that. But Canelo, 60th career win, and I believe this is 62-2. I think is his record, or 61-2, something to that effect. He won by unanimous decision. There really wasn't much controversy there. He absolutely beat Charlo. Charlo didn't wake up until like the sixth, maybe even the seventh round. I remember his coach Derek James is in the corner saying, "Hey, baby, we gave away 6 rounds. You got to wake up. You got to go. You got to go." And every single round after the sixth, you can literally hear Derek James telling Charlo, "The fight's getting away from you. You need to go knock his ass out." Um, and this is something that it was a lot. And Charlo said he wasn't feeling himself. I think that's a fucking cop out. You're a fighter. You're not allowed to not feel yourself on that night. But rightfully so, Canelo won, and you could see Canelo get frustrated. Canelo got frustrated towards the ninth, about the ninth, the 10th, and the 11th, and people were, not real boxing fans. They were texting me saying, "Oh, Canelo doesn't look too good." I was like, "What are you talking about? This is a dominant performance. He's whooping his ass." And then they stated something to the effect that like Charlo wasn't getting hit as much, and I'm like, "Yeah, but if you stand there with your hands up and don't hit me back, you're losing. That's how this works." Um, then they were trying to say that he was trying to pull a Floyd Mayweather. So some of the people that I was talking to were like, "Oh, he's trying to pull a Floyd." I was like, "No, because Floyd is the most beautiful defense. He sits in that Philly shell. He has that shoulder up. He's got that perfect movement. The Mayweather shell. He moves side to side. He waits until you make a mistake. He makes you confident the first 3-4 rounds, and then he starts to pound you. He starts to hit you over the shoulder. He'll go right over your guard. He'll make you overextend the shot so that he can hit you. The only person that I really think brought the fight to him was Marcos Maidana. Um, Miguel Cotto had a few glimpses of it. I think he broke Floyd's nose or made Floyd get a nosebleed, which is something Floyd said he hadn't had in a long time. Um, Nobody really touched Floyd. When Canelo fought him, same thing, frustration. He was 23 years old. He got in there. And Floyd was at the fight. They actually showed Floyd with his grandson, which was really dope. But we can't sit here and take a look at Floyd Mayweather and take a look at Jermell Charlo last night and say that Charlo looked anything like Floyd. That's not happening. He moved well. He did defend well. He did everything that he was supposed to do, but he just didn't operate at full function. It wasn't like he was coming forward. He was defensive, but a little too defensive. And I'm not sure if that was to a fault. Excuse me. Um, I'm not sure what else we can give to Charlo on that one. He did step up to weight classes. For those of you who don't know, he fights at 54. The fight was, I believe, at 168. That's 14 pounds. That's two weight classes. Next weight class, I think, is 160. That's 6 pounds above what he fights at. Um, Something to that effect. And then goes over and tries to fight the best fighter at 168 pounds, the undisputed champion, the only man to defend the undisputed title at super middleweight, I believe that was 168. You just can't. You can't beat Canelo in this part. There's no stopping him at this point. I think the only thing Canelo left to do really is to go up to light heavyweight again. He has to beat Dimitri Bivol. I believe he does have to beat Dimitri Bivol before we can say Canelo is pound for pound king. He's the best ever. Wins another light heavyweight title like he did against the Crusher Kovalev. For those of you who don't remember, Canelo did fight a light heavyweight. He knocked out Sergey Kovalev, who is a fucking demon. If you've never seen Sergey Kovalev fight, I know it's back then, and I think his coach was Tony Jackson, and they had a really good thing going, and it just kind of collapsed after the Canelo fight. Which sucks. I think the Crusher was a great fighter. I do think that age had some to do with it, like just a little bit. But if we're being transparent, um, can't disrespect him. Can't say, hey, Kovalev isn't a real fighter. Can't say that Canelo didn't do a great job. Can't say that this wasn't a great fight. It was a great fight. It was an absolutely great fight. Um, but the Charlo fight, it was a one-sided ass whooping for 8 rounds out of 12. That's it. 8 to 10 rounds. I don't think I could have given Charlo more than 3 rounds, if that, and that's me being generous. Um, Again, like I said to my brother last night, my brother was saying that he felt that it was a very even fight, and I said that is not how this works. If you're looking at boxing from the pugilist perspective, excuse me, boxing is determined based on I hit you more than you hit me. I moved forward. I had control. I had aggression. It's scored on that 10 plus must system that MMA scored on. It's actually the other way around. MMA is based on the boxing system. If you're going to give any person a 10-8 that whole fight, it was Canelo when he dropped Charlo in the seventh. Those series of hooks and uppercuts, and I think Charlo thought by moving his head after the first shot landed, it was going to do something. Canelo changed the trajectory of his punch, hit an uppercut beautifully, and I think Charlo knew better. He was like, no, I'm hurt. Let me take the knee, because if he hits me with something really good, I'm going to get dropped, and then I don't know if I'm going to recover. So respects to Charlo for being the veteran that he is. But I can't give that fight to Charlo in any way, shape, or form. There was no capacity. I had a hard time giving Charlo 2 rounds, to be real with you. But the bigger problem was that people are upset with Canelo for not knocking out Charlo because that's what he wants. Left hand that was surgically repaired. Apparently the wrist is fixed. He had a better training camp. He didn't look as tired. That was something Derek James was saying a lot. He's tired. He's tired. And I was like, I don't think so, bro. He was in Lake Tahoe working at altitude. I don't think he's tired at all. Um, I could be wrong. Let me know what you guys think as well. Go ahead and write that in the comments. Let me know if you think, hey, Canelo definitely looked gassed. I don't think he was gassed. He was fighting with his hands down. And for those who don't know boxing as well, don't know it or have never trained it, um, if a fighter puts his hands down, he's inviting you to come forward and punch him in the face so he could hit you to the body or just to try to get you to engage. It's something that you do a lot. What you'll do is you'll either put it down here to convince him to come up for the headshot, move your heads around, roll your head, roll your shoulders, block, parry, and just go over the hand. Or another thing that I've seen is guys go really high guard, and the high guard is kind of just used to make them go to the body. It's a trap either way, but it's meant to get you to think, I can come forward, I can go at it with you. Um, and I do think Canelo did that very well, but I could see the frustration mount by the ninth and 10th because they started booing, which is something Canelo hates. But I also know that in his head, he was like, I'm fighting a guy that doesn't want to fight me back. The few times that Charlo threw combos, they were nice. Not saying that they weren't. Not saying that, there's not a lot of guys out there that wouldn't have gone to sleep with some of the shots Charlo hit Canelo with. But at 168, the power did not translate. At 168, the Charlo fighting style didn't work. That rope-a-dope shit he was trying to do, I don't get it, but it didn't work. The game plan, none of it worked for him last night. But I will say I did like his shorts. They look like black diamonds. They look good. I'm gonna give him that one. Canelo, of course, with the purple and gold was fire. I was actually mentioning too that Canelo is one of those few fighters like Floyd who can have one or two sponsors or no sponsors and just have his own shit on, which, MMA hasn't gotten to that level. I hope it does someday. You know what I'm saying? VMC Tequila, Yaora, or whatever that shit is called, Yakoa, whatever it is that he has, that one. Value is the only one that I think is the corporate sponsor that he's had for a long time. Dolce & Gabbana was the other one, but of course, like, Dolce & Gabbana, like, you making money, kid. That's a good sponsorship. But he had his own tequila on. He had his own boxing gloves, the no boxing, no life gloves on. I don't know that he owns the brand that makes his shoes, but I know that he has been selecting his boxing shoes for a long time. And he's been selecting the style, the sequence, everything. He has it always coordinated very well. Um, Again, don't know if that's his brand or if it's an off brand that he uses. Like Value, like the other brands that he has. It was just an amazing fight overall. It was entertaining, especially that seventh round. He hit him with this beautiful shot over, then the uppercut. Then Charlo chose to take a knee intelligently. And for the people that think that Charlo would get paid to take a dive, y'all gotta go home. Go home. That's just, if I'm undisputed champion and you're undisputed champion and I have the opportunity to be a two-time undisputed champion, I'm jumping that curb so fast. Because you got to think about it from this perspective. These fighters, they don't always win, but they go out with the intention to win. They go out with the intention to be world champions. They want to be the number one pound for pound guy in the world. Otherwise, why the fuck do it? Right. So for me, I don't think he took a dive. I don't think he went in there knowing he was going to lose. I think in his mind, he thought that. And Canelo was saying repeatedly, hey, they've underestimated my style. They've underestimated who I am. And now he showed them that he can beat them. But now he has to fight the other Charlo. What I think might happen is he's going to end up fighting the older twin, Jamal Charlo. And we'll see how that goes. Hopefully that's another really great story to be told. That's something that people don't like to admit. They love the stories of striking sports, combat sports. You want to see a guy who beats somebody's brother fight the other brother and see the other brother can avenge him, because those things are really dope. The Pitbull brothers. Michael Chandler beat one of the Pitbull brothers. The other brother knocked him the fuck out. And respectfully, that was a great fight. And not to like clown Michael Chandler, because he fought the Pitbull brothers. For those of you who watch MMA, Patricky and Patricia Pitbull are fucking monsters, bro. They hit hard. But that's one of those things that's intriguing. If you beat one twin, can you beat the other twin? That's just some shit we're going to have to wait and see. So for me, that's it right now. I want to thank you all again for your curiosity. Thank you so much again for your time. Dan White, thank you so much for the last episode of the goddamn podcast. For those of you who are watching, make sure to subscribe, like, comment, do all that shit. Let us know what it is that you're thinking. Let us know how you feel about these fights that have been coming up or the upcoming fights. The Bellator 300 card is coming. If you got any predictions, put it in the comment section, put it in the Q&A, and let me know what you're thinking. As of right now, this is it for the episode. Again, I got sick, so I can't really do an interview. But I'd like to thank you again for your time and your curiosity, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Thank you again, and we'll see you next time in the goddamn room here at the goddamn podcast.